Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for calling this important hearing to review recruiting issues in both the Coast Guard and the Merchant Marines. The Coast Guard is facing a recruiting deficit of over 4,800 active duty personnel. Every sector of the economy is facing recruiting challenges, and the military is no different. As views towards work have changed over the past years, many industries are facing labor shortages as workers are looking for a job that not only values them as an employee, but offers an experience that provides value in return. Service members have always been at the core of the service, and without them, mission success would not be possible. The Coast Guard understands this. In 2021, 100% of Coasties who were married to other Coasties were stationed together. This is one of the many reasons that it has the highest retention rate among military services. Despite the critical role that Coast Guard plays in our national security, economy, and ensuring the safety of lives at sea, the Coast Guard is the second smallest branch of the military, and chronic disinvestment in the Coast Guard has forced them to do more with less. Chronic underinvestment has resulted in reduced services for Coasties and their families, including housing, health care, and child care. We must do more to improve the lives of these hardworking individuals by providing the quality care they deserve. By doing so, recruitment will no doubt improve. Recruiting and retaining personnel is imperative for the success of the Coast Guard, as it is in all branches of the military. I'm interested to hear today about the Coast Guard's plans to recruit and retain personnel with a particular focus on diversity and inclusion in the coming years. Despite the Coast Guard's efforts to improve representation of women and minorities within its workforce, leadership in the service still struggles to reflect the demographic of our nation. The Coast Guard is the least diverse branch of the military. We must build on the efforts being made to recruit and retain diverse personnel. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Coast Guard adapted by offering increased flexibility and remote working options. Many employees continue to want this flexibility moving forward, and it will be important to carefully consider how to recruit and retain diverse personnel in a modern work environment. Access to child care and family resources is crucial for long-term retention of personnel and quality of life for both service members and their families. Providing adequate child care and medical services is especially important, retaining female personnel who face unique barriers to promotional opportunities. The Coast Guard oversees the credentialing of mariners. The antiquated paper system used to process merchant mariner credentials result in delays. It is unreasonable that a mariner should wait months while the Coast Guard processes a credential. While we do not know the exact mariner shortage because the Coast Guard's credentialing system is so out of date, it is estimated that the industry would need at least 1,000 more mariners to fulfill sea lift requirements. Not only must we improve mariner recruiting, but we too must ensure that this industry is inclusive and reflects the demographics of our country. Lastly, I want to highlight the forceful action the service has taken to address sexual assault and sexual harassment. Make no mistake, though, this continues to be a pervasive problem throughout the maritime industry, and it is affecting recruiting. We must hold the Coast Guard accountable to ensure accusations are followed by investigations and, in cases where appropriate, convictions. If industry is not perceived as safe, then how can we expect prospective mariners to want to join? We want to do better recruiting a diverse workforce for both the Coast Guard and the Merchant Marine, and Congress plays an important role in that. I look forward to hearing from our panel today on how we can work together to solve these challenges. And before I close, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the work of one Coastie in particular. Sherry Ann Thompson has been a Coast Guard Fellow for the committee for the past 2 years and completes her service on Friday. Her contributions to 2 Coast Guard bills have resulted in better policy for the service and maritime industry. Thank you, Sherry Ann, and best of luck in Miami. Secondly, I'd like to also recognize Captain Dorothy Harness, who is right here as well. She has served as a liaison to the House. She has done an incredible job, and I wish her the best in her future work that I understand is going to be pretty close by. I've had the pleasure of traveling with Dorothy and the service, and she's just a remarkable individual, and I want to recognize. Plus, she loves wine from my region. Congratulations on your next step, Dorothy. Finally, I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record a statement on behalf of the maritime labor.
Thank you very much.
Can we have that without objection, Mr. Chair?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I'm just checking, just check.
Without objection.